ongoing thing.
Dear children, the poem The Ballad of Father Peter Gilligan is a narrative poem or ballad. A ballad is a poem describing a story. The poem is a vivid or clear exposition of the dedicated, sincere service of a simple-minded philanthropist priest.
William Butler Yeats, shortly known as w.b. Yeats, was born at Dublin in Ireland. He was very much part of Irish literary revival. His first volume of poetry appeared in 1887. He, in collaboration with Lady Gregory, his patron, founded the Irish Literary Theatre, later known as Abbey Theatre. His works reflect his fascination for Irish legends and spiritualism. Ballad of Father Gilligan is one such work which reflects his spiritualism and mysticism. Now let's glance through the poem titled The Ballad of Father Gilligan by w.b. Yeats. The old priest Peter Gilligan was weary night and day, for half his flock were in their beds or under green sods lay. Once while he nodded in a chair at the moth-hours of the eve, another poor man sent for him, and he began to grieve. I've no rest, nor joy, nor peace, for people die and die. And after cried he, God forgive, my body spake, not I. He knelt and leaning on the chair he prayed and fell asleep. And the moth-hour went from the fields and stars began to peep. They slowly into millions grew and leaves shook in the wind, and God covered the world with a shade and whispered to mankind. Upon the time of sparrow chirp, when the moths came once more, the old priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor. Mavron, Mavron, the man has died while I slept in the chair. He roused his horse out of its sleep and rode with little care. He rode now and he never rode. By rocky lane and fen, the sick man's wife opened the door. Father, you come again? And is the poor man dead? He cried. He died an hour ago. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief swayed to and fro. When you were gone, he turned and died as merry as a bird. The old priest Peter Gilligan, he knelt him at the word. He who hath made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed, send one of his great angels down to help me in my need. He who is wrapped in purple robes with the planets in his care, had pity on the least of things, asleep upon a chair.
The poem proves the saying that God helps those who help others. Dear children, let's take a quick look at the poem proper as how the central theme of the poem progresses. Father Peter Gilligan, the old priest, was fatigued, that is, totally tired, as he was immersed in the round-the-clock service for his parishioners. One evening, while he was sitting on a chair, sleepy and tired, after a day-long service, a man came to call him for the anointment of a sick and singing man. Father Peter Gilligan was quite tired, and hence felt unwillingness to go with him. He had no rest, nor joy, nor peace, as the parishioners in his flock fell dead due to some pestilences. He begged God for pardon, as he couldn't accompany the man for the sacrament of the dying man in his flock. The father prayed to God and fell asleep. It grew pitch dark, and the sky was studded with stars. The expression millions of stars is an example of hyperbole or exaggerated statement. As we saw in the poem Daffodil, thousands I saw at a glance. It's an exaggeration or mountainizing a small matter. This poetic device in poem is called hyperbole. Leaves rustled in the wind. God blanketed the earth with the darkness and whispered to living beings to sleep. Father Gilligan started from sleep at dawn next day, listening to the dawn chorus. Suddenly, he thought of the pending sacrament of the sick man. It made him deeply sad that the man must have died without receiving an ointment, and his soul may not rest in peace. So, Father Gilligan, with a prick of conscience, rode on his horse as fast as he could, unmindful of the hazardous, rocky and wet paths. As he reached the house of the sick man, his wife opened the door, greeted the father with a smiling face and asked in surprise, "Oh, father, you came again?" The dead man's wife added that her husband died happily an hour ago. Father Peter Gilligan knelt and prayed to God soulfully as he realized God had sent another priest instead of him when he slipped into sleep sitting on the chair. The God who made the universe and taking care of it helped the tired father, sending another priest to administer sacrament to the deceased. See, God helps those who help others. So, let us find time to help others. Thank you.